Your goals are dying in real time because you're letting them. And that's the raw, uncomfortable truth most people aren't willing to face. You're not stuck because life is hard. You're not behind because you don't have enough talent. You're behind because you keep hesitating. You keep waiting. Waiting for the right moment, the right mood, the perfect plan, the green light from someone else. But while you wait, time doesn't. It's not just sitting there on pause while you get your act together. It's slipping through your fingers like sand, and every day you don't take action, another piece of your dream fades into the background. You might not see it happening, but it is. That book you said you'd write last year, that business idea you scribbled in a notebook 5 months ago, that fitness goal you keep restarting every Monday, they're all gathering dust in the back of your mind, buried under a mountain of excuses. The scariest part is how normal this starts to feel. You normalize delay. You get comfortable with postponing your life. You lie to yourself and call it planning or waiting for the right opportunity. But what you're really doing is protecting yourself from discomfort, from the risk of failing, from the fear of starting and realizing it's harder than you thought. So you wait, thinking you're preserving your dreams, but you're actually starving them. Goals don't survive in comfort zones. They don't live in the realm of someday or when I feel ready. They live in action. They live in movement, in urgency, in showing up day after day, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's terrifying, even when no one is clapping for you. Look around. Everything you've ever wanted is being chased by someone else right now. While you think about doing it, someone else is actually doing it. That dream job you want, someone's applying. That body you want, someone's at the gym working for it. That life you keep picturing when you're lying in bed at night, someone's building it, brick by brick. Because they stopped waiting. That's the difference between winners and wishers. It's not magic. It's not genius. It's urgency. Ruthless urgency. The kind that refuses to let another day go by wasted. The kind that says, I'm done with someday. I'm starting now. You've got to get honest with yourself. Are you acting like someone who wants it, or just someone who says they do? Because your behavior is the truth. And if your behavior is passive, if it's lazy, if it's always waiting for motivation to strike, you're letting your goals die. Slowly, quietly. And the worst part, you'll convince yourself you still care about them, even as you do nothing to keep them alive. You don't need motivation. You need muscle memory. That's the problem. Too many people are addicted to the feeling of being motivated, like it's some magical fuel that's supposed to carry you through the grind. But motivation is a temporary high. It fades. It's unreliable. You might wake up one day feeling fired up, but the next day, nothing. So what happens then? Do you stop? Do you wait for the feeling to come back? That's why people quit. They think motivation is supposed to lead, but real growth, real achievement, doesn't wait for the stars to align. It's built on muscle memory, on doing the thing whether you feel like it or not. It's about training your body and brain to take action on command, not emotion. Your brain will always find a reason to delay. It's wired for comfort. It will whisper, do it later. You're too tired. 1 more hour won't hurt. And that's where people lose. Not because they don't have goals, but because they listen to that voice. But if you start building habits that override those signals, if you start moving, deciding, acting in the moment, your brain starts learning that comfort isn't the boss anymore. That you run the show, that's where the shift happens. You don't rise when you feel inspired. You rise when you make movement a default response. When pushing through becomes second nature. When discipline replaces emotion. Motivation might give you the spark, but it's muscle memory that builds the fire. When you've trained yourself to execute regardless of how you feel, you become unstoppable. Not because you always want to do it, but because you've practiced doing it anyway. That's the real edge. That's the winning formula. You have 5 seconds. That's it. That's the window between idea and execution, and most people waste it. You get a thought. Go to the gym, send the email, speak up in the meeting, and within 5 seconds, If you don't act, your brain kills it. It floods you with doubt, with distraction, with 100 reasons to pause. And once you pause, momentum is gone. You've already lost. This is the critical moment where everything is decided. Not later, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, right now. In 5 seconds, that's where your future is built or buried. The truth is, your mind is designed to protect you. It doesn't care about success. It cares about safety. It will always pull you away from anything uncomfortable or unfamiliar. That's why hesitation is so dangerous. The longer you think, the louder the excuses get. So you've got to move before the voice of fear gets a chance to speak. You've got to take that idea and lock it in with action. Stand up, say the words, hit send, pick up your shoes and go. Don't think, just go. That's the difference between people who build the life they want and people who fantasize about it. It's not a matter of talent or luck. It's execution in the moment. Once you learn to act before your brain shuts you down, you reclaim control. You stop being a slave to overthinking. You start living based on your decisions, not your emotions. 5 seconds may not seem like much, but it's everything. It's the crack in the door where courage lives. And if you don't step through it, you stay stuck. Always waiting, always planning, but never doing. Discipline isn't a mood, it's a decision. That's what people get wrong. They treat discipline like a feeling, like something you need to be in the right headspace for. But discipline doesn't care how you feel. It's not about being in the mood. It's about being in control. If you only take action when it's convenient or comfortable, you're never going to get anywhere meaningful. You don't build a great life from your feelings. You build it from your commitments. Discipline is the ability to follow through on what you said you'd do, long after the emotion you set it in has faded. Every morning you wake up, you're at a fork in the road. One path leads to comfort, distractions, snooze buttons, and later, the other path. That one's harder. It's the path of action, of discomfort, of pushing through resistance. Discipline is choosing that second path, even when the first one looks easier. Especially when the first one looks easier. Because you know what's at stake. You know what happens if you keep picking ease over effort. You stay stuck. You stay average. You stay watching other people do the things you know you were capable of doing too. You've got to treat your goals like non-negotiables. Like oxygen. Like your life depends on it. Because in some way, it does. Your potential is dying every time you choose the easy route. And nobody's coming to rescue it for you. Nobody's going to drag you out of bed. Nobody's going to make you do the work. That's on you. That's the game. It's you versus your comfort zone. And the only way you win is by deciding every single day that you will not wait on a feeling to act. You will act. Because that's who you are now. Excuses are just well-dressed lies. That's the truth nobody wants to admit. Every excuse you make. I don't have time. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. I'm not ready. Sounds reasonable on the surface, but underneath it's just fear wearing a mask. Fear of failing, fear of judgment, fear of the effort it actually takes to win. So instead of facing that head on, you wrap it up in a pretty excuse and call it valid. But excuses don't move the needle. They don't make progress. They don't build dreams. All they do is protect your ego while slowly stealing your potential. You've got to stop lying to yourself. You're not too busy. You're just prioritizing the wrong things. You're not too tired. You just haven't trained your body to move when it's uncomfortable. You're not waiting for the right time. You're avoiding the hard truth that there is no perfect time. Every excuse you cling to is just buying you more time in the exact place you say you don't want to be. And the more you repeat them, the more believable they become. Until one day you're completely convinced that your limitations are permanent. But they're not. They're chosen. Repeated, reinforced by behavior. If you want a different life, you have to start calling out your own BS. You have to see excuses as enemies, not allies. Because every time you give one power, you lose momentum. You lose time. You lose the version of you that could have existed if you had just pushed through instead of backing off. You don't need more time, more energy, more resources. You need more honesty, brutal honesty, the kind that forces you to admit that you're the one holding yourself back. And the second you do that, the second you take full ownership, that's when everything starts to shift. The pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret is permanent. That's the trade-off. You either suffer a little now by doing what needs to be done, or you suffer for the rest of your life, wondering what could have been if you had just shown up. People avoid discipline because it's uncomfortable. Waking up early sucks. Going to the gym hurts. Saying no to distractions feels isolating. Staying consistent when nobody's watching is hard. But what they don't realize is that pain has an expiration date. It passes. It transforms. Every time you push through it, you get stronger. Every time you choose discomfort over ease, your future gets better. But regret is heavy. It sticks, it lingers. It follows you around like a shadow, always whispering, you could have done more. You could have been more. And the worst part is, once regret sets in, you can't undo it. You can't rewind. You can't reclaim the time you wasted making excuses instead of making moves. You'll never regret showing up. You'll never look back and say, I wish I hadn't tried so hard. But you will regret every chance you didn't take. Every moment you let fear or laziness decide for you. You'll remember the opportunities you passed up because you were tired. The dreams you shelved because you were scared. The potential you buried under a pile of distractions and half-finished plans. That's the pain that doesn't go away. It builds over time, and by the time you realize it, it's too late to go back. Discipline doesn't feel good in the moment, but it gives you something pride never could: freedom. The freedom to look at yourself in the mirror and know you didn't quit. The freedom to trust yourself. The freedom to create a life on your own terms. Every time you choose discipline, you deposit confidence. You build character. You earn your future. But every time you give in to the urge to quit, you trade your potential for short-term comfort. You settle, you stall. And one day, you wake up and realize that you built a life that's far smaller than the one you were capable of, all because you chose easy over effort. Your environment reflects your standards. Look around. Your space, your habits, your schedule, your circle. Everything around you is either pushing you forward or holding you back. Nothing is neutral. If you surround yourself with clutter, chaos, laziness, and low-energy people, don't be surprised when your life starts to mirror that same energy. If your room is a mess, your thoughts will be scattered. If your schedule is full of distractions, your progress will stall. If your friends are constantly making excuses, guess what? You'll start to do the same. That's not harsh. It's reality. You absorb what you're around. Whether you realize it or not, your environment is shaping your decisions, your mindset, and your trajectory. High standards start with high surroundings. Winners don't leave that to chance. They build spaces and relationships that match where they're going, not where they've been. They make sure that their routines align with their goals, not their comfort. They eliminate what drains their energy and double down on what fuels it. If you're constantly around people who normalize mediocrity, you'll start thinking it's okay to stay stuck. But if you surround yourself with people who challenge you, who hold you accountable, who don't let you settle, you rise, you elevate, you start thinking and acting like the person you're trying to become. That's why it's not just about hard work. It's about alignment. You can work hard every day, but if everything around you is pulling you in the opposite direction, you're going to burn out before you break through. You've got to audit your environment like your life depends on it, because it does. Ask yourself, does this space reflect my goals? Does this schedule reflect my priorities? Do these people reflect my values? And if the answer is no, change it. Upgrade it. Build a life that supports your ambition instead of smothering it. Because no matter how motivated you are, if you're living in a space that contradicts your goals, that motivation will eventually die. Discipline will fade, and you'll start wondering why it feels like you're pushing uphill every day. The answer isn't always in doing more. Sometimes it's in letting go of the things that no longer align with who you need to become. Confidence comes from doing hard things, period. It doesn't come from positive affirmations. It doesn't come from hoping you'll feel better about yourself one day. It doesn't even come from success. Not really. Confidence is a byproduct of courage. It's earned, not granted. And the only way to earn it is by repeatedly showing up, especially when it's hard, especially when you doubt yourself, especially when every fiber of your being wants to run in the other direction. Confidence grows every time you do the thing you were afraid to do. It doesn't matter how big or small. What matters is that you acted, that you moved, that you didn't let fear win. Most people wait to feel confident before they take action. But it works the other way around. You act first, while you're scared, while you're unsure, while your hands are shaking, and confidence is what comes after. It's the reward for pushing through. The more you push, the more you prove to yourself that you can do hard things. And that proof becomes the foundation you stand on the next time fear shows up. It's not about arrogance or pretending to have it all figured out. It's about knowing that even when things get tough, even when everything feels stacked against you, you won't fold. You'll face it head on. Because you've done it before. There's no shortcut. You don't read your way to confidence. You don't visualize your way there. You build it like a muscle. Through effort, repetition, and resilience. Confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you work for. It's forged in early mornings when no one's watching, in late nights when no one's clapping, in quiet moments when you force yourself to keep going, not because it feels good, but because you made a decision. You decided that your future matters more than your fear. Every time you finish that workout you wanted to skip, you build confidence. Every time you speak up when your voice shakes, you build confidence. Every time you make the tough call, take the next step, face the mirror, you build confidence. Not because it was easy, but because it wasn't. And that's where the power is. If you only do the things that come easy, you'll always doubt your strength. But if you chase the resistance, if you lean into it, you'll realize how capable you really are. Confidence isn't loud. It's not the person yelling in the room or showing off online. True confidence is quiet. It's steady. It's the calm in your gut that says, I've been through worse and I didn't break. It's not about needing proof from the outside world. It's about having proof from your own life. You've shown up. You've fought through doubt. You've done the things you once believed you couldn't. That kind of confidence can't be faked. It can't be bought. It has to be earned. And the only way to earn it is to stop avoiding the hard things. Stop choosing comfort. Stop hiding behind excuses and start building the version of you that you respect. Confidence doesn't show up one day out of the blue. It grows brick by brick, every time you take action that's aligned with your values and goals. It shows up after the reps, after the tears, after the moments you thought you'd quit but didn't. Most people never get there because they quit before the reward. They want to feel brave before they move. They want to feel certain before they act. But the truth is, the courage comes first. The leap comes first. Confidence isn't about being fearless. It's about being afraid and doing it anyway. That's where real belief is born. You don't need to be the smartest, the fastest, or the most talented. You just need to be willing to do what others won't, to face the discomfort, to do the reps, to show up when it's inconvenient. Confidence is the trophy life gives to the ones who refuse to stop showing up. Every excuse you make chips away at the future you say you want. It doesn't matter how clever the excuse sounds or how valid it seems. An excuse is still a lie dressed up as a reason. It's a trap, a thief that steals your time, your energy, and ultimately, your potential. And here's the brutal truth: your goals don't care. Your dream life doesn't pause just because you're tired, unmotivated, or scared. Time is ticking whether you act or not. That's the harsh reality most people avoid facing. They decorate their lives with stories about someday and maybe later, and cling to comfort like it's going to pay off in the end. But comfort doesn't pay you. It robs you blind. And excuses are the language of comfort. We all have pain. We all have fear. We all have reasons we could stop, quit, or never start at all. But the people who win in life, who actually get up off the ground and make something happen, are the ones who choose to override the noise. They interrupt the pattern. They don't let the inner critic or the outer world set the limits. They decide to act even when it's hard, even when it's inconvenient, even when everything inside them is screaming for a break, because they understand one core truth: excuses are seductive, but execution is what builds freedom. You cannot control how you feel every day. You're not always going to feel like doing the work, but you can control what you do despite those feelings. That's where the real power lies. That's where your future is built. People who wait to feel ready are always waiting. People who act no matter what, those are the ones who break cycles, break records, and break through. Start calling yourself out. Be brutally honest with the excuses you've been making. Stop pretending that just because your excuse is real, it's also acceptable. Life doesn't stop for your feelings. Life doesn't care how bad your day was. You either show up or you get shown the consequences. And here's the kicker: the longer you live in excuse mode, the harder it gets to climb out. Procrastination grows roots. Fear feeds itself. The comfort zone becomes a coffin where your dreams go to die slowly and quietly. And it always starts with just one excuse. Just one skipped workout, one snoozed alarm, one task pushed to later. You say you want success? Prove it. You say you're hungry? Then stop feeding yourself lies. Replace your excuses with action. Replace your complaints with decisions. Replace your doubt with daily discipline. You don't need more motivation. You need more honesty. You need more self-respect. Because making excuses isn't just a productivity issue. It's a self-worth issue. When you love yourself enough to stop tolerating your own BS, that's when everything changes. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be committed, relentless, non-negotiable with your standards. Because when you are, excuses don't stand a chance. Your excuses are lying to you. Every single one. They wear a mask of logic. They pretend to protect you. They tell you to wait for the right time, to rest a bit longer, or that you're not ready yet. But that's the lie. That's the deception. Excuses don't come from your potential. They come from your fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of success. And as long as you let those excuses whisper in your ear, they will rob you of your future one tiny decision at a time. You say you're tired. You also said you wanted change. You said you wanted to build something better. You said you had a dream. But now you're sitting there, waiting for motivation, hoping for a miracle, searching for a shortcut. That's not how growth works. That's not how goals are achieved. Growth isn't glamorous. It's uncomfortable. It's brutal. It's early mornings when everyone else is sleeping. It's late nights when the world has gone quiet. It's showing up when you don't feel like it and choosing discipline over drama. Every single day. The mind is a battlefield, and right now, excuses are winning. And you've let them win for years. They've convinced you that average is good enough. That starting tomorrow is fine. That perfection is the goal, but that's not real. That's a trap. Because perfection is just procrastination in disguise. Real progress, it's messy, it's imperfect, it's filled with mistakes, false starts, and setbacks. But it's real, and it's yours, if you're willing to get up and go through the fire. You want to know what excuses really are. They're habits, they're conditioned responses. And you can break them the same way they were built, with repetition, action, and truth. You break the lie by taking the opposite action. When your mind says, sleep in, you get up. When it says, wait, you move. When it says, you can't, you scream back, watch me, because your power isn't in your thoughts. It's in your actions. Action rewires belief. It rewrites identity. You don't believe you can change until you start acting like someone who can. You don't need more motivation. You need a moment of decision. You need to feel the sting of your own wasted time and use that pain as fuel. Stop bargaining with your potential. Stop arguing for your limitations. You weren't born to be average. You weren't born to quit halfway. You were built for resilience. You were built to persist. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you take your power back. Every time you silence the excuse and take one more step, you grow. Not just in results, but in identity. You become the kind of person who does hard things, who doesn't give up, who fights for what they want. Excuses are the enemy of greatness. And right now, they're stealing from you. Your time, your energy, your potential, your life. You don't get that back. There is no rewind button. The truth is, your goals aren't waiting. They're fading. Every delay puts distance between who you are and who you're supposed to be. That dream you keep talking about, it's dying. Slowly. Quietly. While you're busy being realistic. While you're waiting to feel ready, you'll never feel ready. Readiness is a myth. The only thing you need is willingness. Willingness to take the first step. Willingness to act afraid. Willingness to look foolish. Willingness to fail and still keep going. No one is coming to rescue you. No one is going to build your dream for you. No one is going to drag you out of bed and push you to your destiny. That's your job. You want change. You want success. Then start with this. Stop believing the lies you tell yourself. Stop giving airtime to doubt. Interrupt the pattern. Catch the excuse mid-sentence and challenge it. Is it true? Or is it just a habit? Is it real? Or is it resistance in disguise? You are capable of far more than you think. But capability doesn't matter without commitment. Potential means nothing without performance. And excuses, they are the chains keeping you from taking that first step. This is your call to break them, to rise, to move, to take ownership. You're not tired. You're not stuck. You're scared, and you don't need more time. You need a decision right now. Because here's the truth you don't want to admit. You're not behind because of your circumstances. You're behind because of your choices. And if you're strong enough to face that truth, you are strong enough to change it. You are not your excuses. You are your actions. You are your commitment. You are the quiet grind when no one's watching. You are the refusal to back down when it gets hard. You are the inner voice that says, I'll show up anyway. Let this be the moment you stop living on pause. Let this be the moment you flip the script. You don't need more time. You need a reason. You need to reconnect with that fire inside you that wants more, that craves better, that knows you were meant for something greater. Excuses are like thieves in the night. They look for the smallest window of doubt, the tiniest crack in your confidence, and then they break in and steal everything. Don't give them a key. Don't even let them knock. You want to know what power feels like? It's not loud. It's quiet. It's the decision to show up when you're not in the mood. It's the tiny, invisible moments when you choose to push forward instead of fall back. That's real strength. That's real courage. That's how goals are built. One unglamorous choice at a time. So the next time an excuse shows up, and it will, don't negotiate, don't justify, don't reason with it. Replace it. Replace the lie with truth. Replace hesitation with action. Replace doubt with courage. And replace comfort with purpose. Because your excuses may sound convincing, but your future, your goals, your dream, they don't care about what sounds good. They care about what gets done. Show up, do the work, silence the lies. The only thing standing between you and the life you want isn't money, isn't time, isn't talent. It's the lie you keep believing every time you let an excuse win. It's time to break that pattern. It's time to stop lying to yourself. It's time to